Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be going over the top 5 attacking operators for beginners. If this video does well and I get feedback, I will be doing the top 5 defending operators for beginners. I'll be rating these operators on a scale from 1 to 10 based on their price, so 10 being they're super cheap, super affordable, 1 being they're very expensive and obviously unaffordable. And then I'll be rating them on a scale from 1 to 10 based on how important they are and how easy they are to use. So 10 being super easy, super important, 1 being not important at all, and yeah, not very easy to use. So I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get right into the list. So at number 5, I have Fuse. Out of a scale of 10 on how important and how easy he is to use, I gave him a 6. And this is because obviously it's important to have a Fuse at a lower rank because he can get the frags, and that could be super important to a newer player, help him get kills because their gun skill won't be very good. He has a very good gun in my opinion. The AK-12 is super good. And then obviously a con with this for a newer player is the fact that you actually do need some map experience when playing Fuse, because you're going to need to know where to fuse and where it would be helping your team and where people may be camping. And then obviously you need to be careful of team killing when you're fused. So if you, again, don't know where to fuse, you may end up fusing your teammate or end up fusing at the wrong time and actually killing your teammates, which would be working against what you want, obviously. So these are things that maybe newer players may not be able to grasp right away, that obviously experienced players would just know based on having experience from playing the game. And then once you do gain this experience, Fuse might not be as useful in the higher ranks because there may be other operators you want to run, like Zofia or Ash or Buck Sledge or whatever. So obviously this is why I gave it a 6 out of 10, and on its price had to go with a 10 out of 10. It's one of the cheapest operators. There's nothing else to say. So overall, 6 out of 10 for how important and how easy it is to use, 10 out of 10 for its price, which is an average rating of 8. And here I'll go over the loadout. So normally I like to run this AK-12. I just run the reflex, compensator, vertical grip, right? And then I'll just use any one of these pistols. It doesn't really matter to me. And then I'll have a muzzle brake on it. I haven't used Fuse in a minute, but there's the muzzle brake. And then I'll just normally run the breach charges. So yeah, at number 5, Fuse. At number 4 here, I have Hibana. On how easy and important she is, I gave her 8 out of 10. I believe that you don't need great map knowledge to know how to use her. You just need to know, I guess, to breach the main walls, which isn't that hard. And even if you don't know, if you're running with a team or something like a 5-stack, they can tell you where to breach. Or even if you're not running solo, they'll tell you, normally they'll ping it and you'll just breach that main wall or whatever. The weapon is, I guess, a little harder to use though, because it does have a little recoil, I guess, compared to like other guns. And it does have a smaller clip size or magazine size, so you do need to hit your shots. But I mean, as you can see here, the Type 89 is 40 damage, so it is a hard hitter. But another reason why I believe that Hibana is so good is just because she's going to be very useful for a team, and even in the higher ranks and later on when you get better, you're going to be using Hibana still, just because she is a hard breacher, and she's still going to be useful, unlike someone like Fuse who may not get picked in the later ranks just because there's other operators that are better and more important. On the price scale of things, I gave her a 7 out of 10 because although I guess she is cheaper than some of the more expensive operators, she's still not the cheapest option, such as like Thatcher or Fuse, as I covered, or even like IQ. So yeah, overall, on how important and how easy she is to use, I gave her 8. Price wise, out of 10, gave her a 7. So that's an average of 7.5, right? So even though the average of 7.5 is lower than Fuse's, which was at an 8, I still put her higher on the list, or I guess lower on the list, or just in a better position, because you can still use her in higher ranks, unlike Fuse, where I believe that if you use her in like your lower ranks, when you go higher, you won't be using Fuse anymore. So you're gonna have to transfer to a different operator. As with being Hibana, I believe that you'll be using her still. So you'll be able to build on her skills and continuously get better with her. For the loadout, I suggest using the Type 89. I do the vertical grip just to help with the recoil, ACOG, and I have muzzle brake on her, but I'd say maybe like compensator. I don't know. I haven't used Hibana in a while, so I don't know exactly why I had muzzle brake on there. And then the bearing 9, I would go with the bearing 9 if you're able to control the recoil. I'll probably run hollow on it. And yeah, so again, at number 4, we have Hibana. At the number 3 spot here, I have Sledge. On how important / how easy he is, out of 10 to use, I gave him an 8. Just because in lower ranks, you don't really have to do too much with him. He's just getting frags and opening soft breaches, right? And obviously his ability is super easy to use, just sledging open walls, roofs, floors, whatever you can reach with the sledge, I guess, right? Soft breaches. He's also will be useful in higher ranked games, which is nice, especially when you learn how to play vertically, because people are starting to use him over Buck since Buck lost his grenades. The gun's also super easy to use, as you can see here. The L85A2 is probably one of my favorite guns in the game, super easy to use. The hammer or the sledge is also able to get rid of gadgets such as Maestro and barbed wire, which is super nice. And so yeah, I decided to go with an 8 instead of like a higher mark, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, out of 10, because even though he is like super easy to use and he is important and all that, for a beginner, he may be a little harder to use just because you have to learn how to play vertically to maximize his ability, which takes some map knowledge and knowing where people like to sit out normally. So that comes with experience. So that is why I gave him an 8 out of 10. Price wise, I gave him a 10 out of 10 because I mean, what else are you going to give him, right? He's one of the cheapest operators in the game, which overall, on a scale of 10 of how important and how easy he is to use, I gave him an 8. Price wise, out of 10, I gave him a 10, which is an average rating of a 9 out of 10, which places him 3rd. I'll go over my loadout with him quickly now. So as you can see, I used the L85A2 with an ACOG and compensator with the vertical grip. And I mean, I used the compensator just because it helps with that horizontal recoil, that spread of the recoil, which I believe is super important on console because it's really hard to control that. I know a lot of people like to go with the flash hider here, and I was on that, I tried it out, but I do like the compensator more in my personal opinion, especially with guns such as like the SMG11. So yeah, I do use the SMG11, but if you're beginning and you don't know the recoil, I would suggest going with the pistol because it's hard to learn this recoil here. It's super strong. And then, I mean, there's really no other option than going with the frag. The frag is so much better than the stun grenade. So yeah, at number 3 we have Sledge. At the number 2 position here, I did have Thatcher, as you guys probably expected, as I've been picking more of support operators just for these beginners. On a scale of 1 to 10 on how easy he is to use, I gave him a 9. Just because he has one of the easiest guns in the game, as I said with Sledge, because they have the same gun. And his gadget is also very easy to use. And normally you'll have a hard breach or someone telling you what to do and where to throw it. But his EMP or his gadget, whatever you want to call it, is not only useful for hard breaching, but it's also helpful for pushing into rooms because they can get rid of gadgets such as like Maestro cams, Vel cams, and it'll also get rid of their reticle, so when they're aiming down sights trying to shoot you, they have a bit more difficulty. Thatcher is also important at all ranks. I feel like if he's available, you're going to almost always see him picked, but the only reason why I gave him a 9 out of 10 for how easy and important he is out of 10 is because that if you're using Thatcher, you're going to want to know how to counter things such as bandit tricking, which newer players might not know how to do, which is obviously very simple, but it is something that they do have to learn how to do. Plus, Thatcher's almost always banned, so it does kind of take away from how good he is. And yeah, so for his price, I gave him a 10 out of 10. I mean, again, one of the cheapest operators in the game. What else are you going to give him? Which overall leaves him with a 9 out of 10 on how important and easy it is to use, and a 10 price, which leaves him with an average rating of 9.5. So for the loadout here, ACOG, compensator, vertical, same thing as Sledge, right? For the backup or for the secondary, pistol, muzzle brake, just because I mean you're not going to use a suppressor. Muzzle brake's better. I'm pretty sure everyone uses it. Maybe like suppressor if you want to shoot cams out quietly. And then with the gadget here, I would go Breach Charge. So yeah, at number 2 here, I have Thatcher. At the number 1 position, as I'm assuming many of you expected, I have Thermite. For how important and easy he is to use, out of 10, I gave him a 10. I mean, this gun's super easy to use. He's a hard breacher, which is very important. I mean, his gadget or device or whatever you want to call it is super easy to use. You don't really need to frag to be a good Thermite. All you need to do is really get the wall open and you got your job done. Obviously, getting frags is super nice, but his primary job is just to get that wall open. Thermite's also important at all ranks, right? You're always going to need to get that wall open. Plus, he's also never banned, unlike Thatcher. Like, Thatcher's almost always banned, which is why I gave him a 9. Kind of had to like take down on the points for him. But Thermite's almost never banned, which is why it's a 10 out of 10. Plus, you don't really need great map knowledge to know where to breach. You just go to like, the main bomb, or your team will tell you if you're working like with a 5-stack, or even if you're by yourself again, they'll normally ping where they want it open, so you just go there and you get it done, right? So for price wise, again, you gotta give him 10 out of 10, right? One of the cheapest options, which leaves him with an overall score of 10 because he gets it how important and how easy he is at 10 out of 10, and price wise he gets a 10. So again, average of 10. So I'll go over his loadout here. Little Black Ice Flex. Unfortunately, don't use this gun, but with the 5.56 XI, go ACOG compensator, and the vertical, you can switch to vertical with the ACOG, or sorry, not the ACOG, the angled grip, which gives you a faster ADS, which is nice. I do go with this gun here, the M45, but the 5.7 is not bad as well. Obviously, as you can see, it has less damage, but I mean, it has more bullets, which is nice in the magazine. And then here, I do go with the stun grenades, just because I don't find claymores great. I guess you could have a claymore just so they don't jump out on you, but I find the stun grenades more useful. So yeah, that concludes the list, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if this video does do well, again, as I mentioned at the start, I will drop the top 5 best defending operators for beginners. So yeah, have a good day, guys.